other question is this just a special little print run, or is the whole print?
No, the whole print run's
The
done.
print
These are
run's done.
actually off the print run.
Yeah, so it's just needs time to sell in to the distribution chain, and Mongoose wants to fast track it as much as they don't like having books in their warehouse
Any more than we do, yeah.
Yeah, so they're going to be, we got a confirmation, we know when they're going to start selling into distribution. So it's as soon as they fly back across the pond, then in it goes.
We've already talked to them about it, and it's one of the first things I'll be working on when they get back.
And it's been solicited and everything else.
Oh
So
yeah, it's in process.
It's a matter of weeks,
Right.
and hopefully very few weeks, but
Right.
we don't know exactly.
But we want to be realistic about it. We don't want to get everybody's hopes up that it's going to show up September 1, because honestly, I don't think that's going to be the case.
Right. So it's selling well at the show.
Are you selling some of these from the website? Is it something else?
Mongoose takes direct orders.
Right.
We are currently not set up to take direct orders.
Nice.
Not yet.
Yeah, but not yet.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Way too far out for us to tell. I don't know.
I mean, it's still blowing my mind a little bit. It's like, congratulations on Fantasy Craft. Where's 10,000 bullets?
Yeah.
And thanks, guys. I did enjoy 5 minutes with the book before I was asked where the next one is. We know it's next. We know what's happening next. Yeah. We're gonna again in the interest of controlling expectations, in the interest of keeping obviously keeping people's attention focused on the things that are already out here and that are immediately coming. We're not really ready to talk about that yet, but we have plans.
Yeah. What we can say is that of the things that we have talked about before, none of them have been sunk. None of the ideas that we have put out before are arbitrarily off the table at this point. It's just a matter of when and in what order we wind up doing things. But it's better for everybody if we just stay focused on the next thing. And in this case, it's Fantasy Craft supplements, Spycraft supplements, these bad boys here.
And it's also we're saying
And
that,
10KB.
Well, yes, and then Spellbound will work with Fantasy Craft's magic system.
Right, which expands its grimoire.
Right. So as we get the current series will be finished out in PDF, as you full-on Spycraft products, Spycraft branding, the whole thing, and then Spellbound will be released, mastercrafted, so it'll be workable with you. You want urban fantasy, Fantasy Craft, 10,000 bullets, Spellbound. You're pretty well covered in that you have a massive grimoire with a bunch of specialist classes and everything else, in addition to all the other pieces.
So to clarify, the important bit of that particular, of Alex's particular statement is that Spellbound will actually be both Spycraft 2.0 and Mastercraft at different points.
Right. So we're not gonna. The people who've been following Spellbound and are using Spellbound and Spycraft games will not be left hanging.
Vow of Silence is currently planned as a Spycraft 2.0 setting.
Yeah, exactly. So that's all still coming. But then we also have Spellbound, which will be supporting Fantasy Craft and Mastercraft stuff going in the future. So we get to have it both ways, which is nice.
So Spellbound is going to see two styles of release. The traditional way we've been seeing it for Spycraft and then Mastercraft release?
What's almost certainly going to happen there is that we will finish out the current Spycraft 2.0 run in PDF, and at some point after that, we will release a compiled Mastercraft version in print.
Which doesn't require that many changes. I mean, essentially, the biggest changes are to things like classes, which are a small part. If you own a Spellbound volume, it's like, okay, well that's 2 pages out of 28, and there will be certain rules, of course, that are in Spycraft 2.0 and not in Mastercraft
or work a little bit differently.
Or work differently, and so they'll be kind of made more consistent for that particular line.
Right.
Yes.
You talked about this more in Valorant spoilers, if you understand the series in terms of just where you're at.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we're early in the process. Obviously, finishing Fantasy Craft is priority number 1. But we've got the whole project is basically conceived and has been conceived from the get-go. We kind of went to the Sanderson estate. It's not estate, he's still alive. But
Sorry, Brandon.
Yeah. So I don't know why I used estate. Anyway, we went to Brandon with a plan and said, this is where we really want to go. And I've got to stop tapping the table and put the book under my hands. So, yeah, we've got a plan. It's all conceived up. We've got an initial alpha system kind of framed up right now that we're going to be doing some testing with and batting back and forth and things like that in the coming months as we move towards, we got...
So conceptually, the idea is, first of all, this will not be a D20 game. It will not be Mastercraft. It will not be Spycraft. It will not be OGL. It will not be. It will not have classes. It will not involve as much structure as you are used to from our games. I want to put all of that out. Those are definites. The system that we have in place, that we are internally playtesting and now, which is bare bones, because initially with these things you want to make sure that the skeleton works before you try and put meat on it at all. The ideas behind it, the concepts behind it are, the idea is to focus on characters, to focus on story, to let the player bring as much to every equation and roll as the GM does, and to let your ideas guide the resolution of it as much as the die roll does.
Well, the important thing that with this system that we're working towards is that it supports the literary elements of the books.
Right.
And both the plan is that both the licenses, Looking Glass Wars and Mistborn, will be using the same system that we work out.
Right.
And it's because both these authors have been very good to work with, and both of them have a great literary style, and they're so dynamic that we want to encourage people who enjoy those books and enjoy those styles to be able to, and we want the action of the game to be that literary experience. It's not defined by okay, so I'm going to, I don't know, you're not checking modifiers all the time. But you're not broken out of. I gesticulate a lot, but I apparently gesticulate on surfaces. So it's not going to force you out of the game where okay, now check your sheet. Can you do this? Can you do this? Can you do this? It's got to be an experience that is going to not get interfered with by rules, or where the rules segue to the literary experience as much as possible.
So in both these cases, we have novelists who are very good at suggesting things without actually having to describe every tiny detail. Mm-hmm. In both cases, we have worlds that have that as you're reading, you're imagining what's right around the corner. And we want a system that is all about you bringing your ideas to the table and your ideas forming your adventures in your world.